All right, welcome to episode 41. Is this 41? Nope, episode 42. And this is jam packed, so we're gonna get right into it. Another, well, yeah, I guess it was a historical day. I'll say another historical day for the future of Iraq. But anyway, this is my FX Buddies, the podcast. And if you are listening to this on YouTube, because that's what you're doing, you're listening on YouTube, you're not seeing the video. And you want to go to the blog. I found a gem of a PDF today. You see the title says The Fistful of Dinars. They are playing on A Fistful of Dollars, which I'm pretty sure I've seen that movie, but that's one of those movies where your guy is like, hey, babe, I'm going to watch this. Will you watch it with me? And you're like doing 50 other mental things. Anyway, let me leave that alone. So I have don't ask me nothing about that movie. I know I think Clint Eastwood was in it, and I think it's originally in Italian. But anyway, A Fistful of Dinars. It's a 38-page PDF, chock full of stuff. I know it's not going to be for everyone, but you should definitely get it. At least glance it over, read some stuff, and we'll get into that later. Look, I'm already getting into it. Okay, so RSS.com has a transcript, a very good transcript. There's my FX Buddies is there, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you want to look. Just do an internet search for my FX Buddies. And if it's there, it'll come up. Okay, and the blog. The blog is at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com, and that's where you see everything. The video, the actual video. Or if you don't want to do all that, if you use Rumble, rumble.com, myfxbuddies, the video, the real video is there, but it's the same video that's on the blog. So just go to the blog, and that's where you'll see everything all in one place. All right. So, it is April 19th. It's early enough where this should be posted under April 19th, 2024. I was waiting to see. I don't know. The itinerary has the whole delegation left earlier today, but I almost said a body. What's the man's name? Sudani stayed back because he did an interview with the Atlantic Council. Okay, and it's really boring. He doesn't say anything new, but the last question. So, well, you know what I shouldn't say? There was actually some excitement. They actually let a woman get in, and she asked, there was a lady that was kidnapped in Iraq. I think it's an American. She's either American or Israeli. I'm not sure. She's missing. So I believe it was hard to hear the woman, but he responded after. So she was screaming, and even the poor little translator, you could tell it was awkward for him. Then he says, okay, we will return shortly. And then they go to the screen that says we'll resume shortly, and they remove that lady. They took her out. But yeah, so that was a little bit of excitement. But after that, it was just them talking, and for me, it's so irritating to have to listen to the interpreter, right? But they did a pretty good job. They did a pretty good job. Anyway, so what we really are concerned with, and it's at the end, it's at the hour 28 mark. The question is, this is part of the question, is the government thinking of reevaluating the dinar and readjusting the value of the dinar due to the current circumstances in the market, or do you see it staying the same? And this is his answer, almost word for word. I took out the ums and the repeats to, so it would make more sense and take less time. So this is the answer. This policy actually is dictated by the central bank, and the government abides by what the bank decides. Now, this is my second favorite part. Right now, I believe we are in the best status that we could be in. Hey, hey, the best status that we could be in. And we have actually had an assessment which has given, this is weird, and I couldn't figure out how to make this more sensible, but assessment which has given much trust, higher trust at a higher level from different global parties. Yeah, IMF, World Bank, BIS, right? So we started reforms when it comes to the banking sector. And when we spoke about that before, but this is the best part, but this is going to actually raise the level of, or the value of, the Iraqi dinar. And there is actually a policy that is a consistent policy, and the central bank is using when it comes to investments and how they invest the money for, our own reserves here in Iraq, of course. So then he goes on and he changes the subject because I guess he knew um, it was going to be the end, and he wanted to address the woman that was asking about the stolen woman. What is the word? The kidnapped woman, which I thought was very nice. He seems to be a very fair man, very nice. All right. But you know how you men are. You all seem that way when you went to. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. It's Friday. Okay, so now this. I'm not going to spend that much time because I know not a lot of people care about stuff like this, but I know there are a lot of people who do care. And if you could go get this and print this out, this is part of history. So it's a PDF that is page 7. It is, now it says, look at that. Look at all that dinar. A Fistful of Dinars, Demystifying Iraq's Dollar Auction. Okay, so that's what the title is. But when you read into it, it talks about oil, the flow of oil money, how the money, the reserve, what is it? Revenue, the oil revenue goes, the flow that it goes through, because it's totally not like other countries. So it's all in English, which who's it really for if it's in English, right? So it's a study. This Middle East Center, I think it's in London. I don't know. But see this guy right here? Ahmed Tabakchali. He's the image. He's the thumbprint. That's him there. I believe he's rich. He's the chief strategist of Asia Frontier Capital Iraq Fund. So he's an investor. And somehow he's tied very closely to the ISX. Every week he does a report. It has wonderful numbers and charts and, stuff that I just don't look at. But he's very intelligent. I have heard him speak English, the Queen's English, okay, not American English. And I'm laughing because, yeah, right, the Queen's English. But and Arabic. So, but anyway, it's he's not the one that did that. But anyway, here, this piece aims to demystify the role and the functioning of the auction. It does so through reviewing the oil and dollar life cycle within the Iraqi economy. Now, who doesn't want to know that? But it is, and actually, you know what? It's pretty easy to read. Uh, for those of you who know, I have reading comprehension issues. I usually have to read things 3 to 5, sometimes 8 times. But you know what? This is pretty straightforward now that I think about it. But anyway, so it says that it's 37, 38 pages. But as you see me scrolling through, yeah, it's 36 pages. But it's not the full page. Like, here's one page, and it's just this little bit of writing, right? Here's another page. It's a title page. So it's not full, and they did a lot of work because look, half the page or a quarter of the page are footnotes. So they have the reference material that you can actually link to. So this is a real good paper, a real thing for those of you who want to compile things for history, for your legacy. I believe this is a document you may want to put in there. And you can print it out. And here's another lovely little chart diagram. But yeah, so I will be reviewing this over the weekend. I just found this maybe 2 hours ago. I'm like, oh, why couldn't they put this out before? So, it kind of leads me to believe we're at the end. This could also be education for the citizens, but it's in English. So that's why I said, who is this really for? Because it's in English, unless possibly they have one in Arabic that maybe they can request. I don't know, but yes. Here they have Article 8, the purpose of Article 8. So yeah, I'm excited to read this, and I'm excited to share it with you. So if you go to the blog, let's go back. The link to that is right here. And you don't have to log in, you don't have to join anything. Just go to the blog, and it says click here to read the full article. That link will take you to that PDF that I was just looking at, and you could print it out. All right. So that's that. Okay, so now we'll go into the articles. Well, let me show you because I wanted to show these pictures. Woo, not that. Is it gonna let me? Okay, so he went to Michigan. There was information about the meeting with Texas, and I'm gonna show you some pictures, but they didn't do a breakdown like they did of the one before, the one in Houston. Sorry, I know I just said Texas. Whatever. The meeting that he had with the businessmen in Michigan, it doesn't have a breakdown, but I think that's because it was Thursday. And the news is different on Thursdays because they shut down and to get ready for their holy day, and then also the bombing, right? Which isn't that crazy? There's so much confusion. First, Iran says, "No, we didn't get hit," and then there was reports that it was Iraq, Syria, and Iran got hit. So I'm still not really sure. I'm gonna wait and see. The thing is, Iran does not let people in their country like other people do, so like other countries do. So you have to go by what they say for a little while until the underground people who are there the underground media, right, until they start to leak out images and information, then Iran will address, what happened. So they went. That was the rest of the news for the night. After that happened, it wasn't really about Sudani. Like, I'm not sure if he's even left yet. I do believe the entourage has left, but because Sudani had to do that interview with the Atlantic Council, and I think he had a couple more meetings, and they don't, I haven't seen the images. Usually, when he leaves, it'll just be a little quick thing. It'll say Sudani has left on his way back to, but I haven't seen that yet. But it's only 8:14. I'm thinking maybe 1 a.m. we might see that. All right. So anyway, so this was from social media. Sudani from America. The justifications for the presence of the international coalition in Iraq ended today. He said that, but that was Thursday, right? Sudani, to the members of the Iraqi community in the state of Michigan, we affirm. Oh, the video. There's a 4-minute video of him just in this one place. Let's see. I will put that. I'll put that. I'll have to add it in after. What do I say? What's the wording I say? In post-production. I'll add the video of him. But the people look so happy to see him, and he looks so happy. Look, here they are looking at him. That's if you're wondering what they're looking at. I couldn't get this to go on the blog. I guess maybe in post-production I could fix that. But they have Iraqi flags, and there's even bigger Iraqi flags and more footage in the 4-minute video, which is no words, it's just all images, so anyone can watch it. All right, and look at this. This is a painting, right? I don't think it's a real painting. I'm wondering if maybe it's a Google AI, whatever. But they did really good. But this is like his going down in history. And I believe this is the Iraq, the map, the shape of Iraq on a map. And I'm describing this for people who aren't seeing it. And he's got, but they have that like glowing, right? That's the background. And then they have Sudani, and they even got, his skin is kind of messed up. I don't know how to describe it, but they even got the texture of his skin. Yeah, so this is like, this could be his going down in history picture. He's got his little Iraqi pin on his lapel. So I'll put that on the blog also. Like I said, I couldn't get it to stick. So that's it here. All right, so let's go back. So I believe that's it. I'm so mad at myself. Building a stronger. Oh, here's a Forbes. Will this come up? Oh, it's not there anymore. But somewhere on here is a short interview with, I need to sneeze. Okay, let's see. Oh well. I'll put it there. I'll put it, well, whatever. You'll see it. Okay, so now let's go. So here he met with a group talking about terrorism has been defeated in Iraq thanks to sacrifices and blood of its people. So this is Thursday back at his hotel. And the words are there if you want to read that. Sudani to the American media. Look at that. Here, let me make this. Now again, if you're listening to this on YouTube and you can't see the image doesn't change, that means you need to look under the box that looks like a video and there's a word more. And if you click that word, then more information comes. And the link to the blog that has the video, so you can see all these images, is there. So this is the media. He met with the media here. But look at that rug and it very almost regal feeling, the chandeliers and gold uh, whatever trim. Oh, yeah, anyway, all right. Let's see. So here, what was their point? He came to establish paths of bilateral relations between Iraq and the U.S. in a sensitive and delicate circumstance. So that was like a theme. Those were like statements he repeated, right? So you could read that if you want. And it's a formal, that's a formal statement from his office. The date got cut off though, but see these little dots here? Under there it said from the Prime Minister's office and the date. All right, here Sudani discusses with a delegation from the Baker Institute for Energy Studies and Research. More files. You know, you can look that up. Of course, one was doing business, technology, you know, all that. Here is Sudani reveals an intention to establish that Fa port, so the Fa refinery, and this is also with China at the end. I think here, the very last, at the conclusion of his speech, the Prime Minister revealed that he had signed a contract to establish the Al-Fa refinery with a capacity of 300,000 barrels per day with a Chinese company. So now here's from Texas. Al-Sudani details energy projects and talks about a new idea in exploiting wealth. And here's another picture you can make bigger and see. So not as many people, but this is just Texas. I'm sorry, is this Texas? Yes, this is just Texas. So those are all that. That's a nice room too. All right, so you can read that. Here I just have this one sentence. Sudani called on American companies to engage in partnerships with the Iraqi private sector. He pointed out that Iraq is of great importance to the energy market in terms of production and reserves. So there's much more. I hate this word exploiting wealth, but I guess that's what they're doing. And so they had announced that they made some licensing rounds. They call them licensing rounds. I don't know what that means, but they've extended them for 15 days. So I'm betting some of these people will be finding their way to Iraq. Anyway, so here, oh wow, we're already 23 minutes. Oh, okay. These two are important articles, I feel. It's Alak, and we'll go with the longer one. Alak, the CBI governor, right? Forming a committee with the Ministry of Treasury and the Federal Bank to address and correct the violations of the sanctioned banks. So I've read this a few times, and it sounds to me, so they've made another committee, and yet another committee, to review the transactions to make sure they're going through the proper, through the Federal Reserve, through the Treasury, back to Iraq, right, to the CBI. But these banks, these 28 banks that are currently not working, I believe they're going to be set up to go directly. They're not going to go to the CBI. They're going to go directly to the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Treasury, and then write direct to those banks. That's what I think the difference is. But because remember, they're going to get rid of the auction. So they're going to need a place for those dollars to go. And it's not, the CBI is the auction, right? The CBI uses the auction. So they have to start practicing, getting them used to this new system, probably showing them, look, you can still funnel dollars out just this way, right? But anyway, so I believe we still don't have an answer if they're removing those sanctions or not. But what I took away from this was they've got this new committee. So maybe they're going to start running them through this new procedure. And then once they get that straight, they'll let those sanctions go. But they'll start to let them into the system getting dollars again. That's what I get from this. I could be wrong. We shall see, or hopefully we won't, because maybe the RV will happen and I won't have to watch this. Okay, let's see. Sadani meets a number of members of the Iraqi community in the American city of Houston. They didn't have that many pictures of these either. So just that one, and that one's kind of distorted. Okay, I definitely want to talk about this article. An economic expert explains the reason for the scarcity of the dinar and reveals a big mistake. So I don't know if I talked about the other the last blog. I don't know if I showed, but there was an article, I think I did. There was an article about how a country becomes dollarized and then the steps they can take to de-dollarize. Okay, remember that? Now, listen to this. And this guy, Basim Antoine, how does he have two totally Arabic names and then his last name is Antoine? But that's how I remember him, by his last name. The scarcity of the dinar is due to the reasons people hoard it and use it for work and trading instead of the dollar and investing it. A process of dollarization of society was carried out, and this is a big mistake, until the public went towards buying property, real estate, and the dinar decreased from the street. So, oh no, wait, you know what? This isn't the one. But anyway, I did want to go over, but there's another article. Oh, yeah, okay. I know that one. I think it's here. So, isn't that's just too much of a coincidence that they put that article that I thought was education, and then here he comes out talking about, yes, we dollarized our society, and it was a big mistake. And then he says we can correct it, and we'll go back to our money and stability. Okay, here's another picture of Michigan. Matter of fact, under this picture of him at Michigan, right here, I'll put the video of all the images. It's the 4-minute video. Really neat. Okay, let's see here. Here's more of the speech on the justifications for the presence of the international coalition in Iraq ended today. So one of the last meetings he has, he talks about ending the coalition. Everything else is about energy, energy, energy. Yeah, and economy, economy, economy. So here, Barzani, poor Barzani, he didn't get to come. He's eagerly awaiting the results of Sudani's visit to Washington. So, that's another person he'll meet with. I totally forgot about that. He's all, Sudani is all excited to meet with Erdogan. He's also going to have to fill in Barzani and tell him all of what they did and what they talked about. Okay, let's see. Here's The government residents, oh yeah. And he talked about, oh, okay, I can't summarize this, but you probably should read that. He told the Michigan people, we have a department in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to help you to come back. The government's keenness to take care of all the affairs of the people of the community through its directives to the ambassadors and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to take care of their interests and their affairs. So he also did tell them to come home. We need your expertise. And, it's not the same as it was. Okay, here. This is the one. This article makes no sense, but it does have a hint of some information. Parliament Finance advises raising exchange rates. Again, what about oil revenues? So, he is a current Parliamentary Finance Committee member. Not only that, at one time, they had promised him he would be Prime Minister. So he knows stuff, right? He's been in government for some years. He never did make it to Prime Minister, but so he said the necessity of suspending the dollar exchange rates in Iraqi markets while indicating that America is pressuring Iraq to reform the banking system. And then he says we need to get to 1,500 dinars in order to create real economic development. So forget all that. Don't let this upset you. Okay, here's the part. He added, the revenues from Iraqi oil exports go to the U.S. Federal Bank in two accounts, pointing out that the U.S. Federal Bank noticed that there were different numbers for Iraq's imports from customs and the central bank, which led to a change in the trade financing mechanism. So, immediately when I saw that, two accounts, because remember, we're under the impression, many of us are, that they closed out the DFI fund and put the money in that Iraq 2 account, right? Okay, so maybe they didn't. Maybe there's a split. Maybe some money is still in the DFI. Then maybe they still need 13303. And what's the other thing? The DFI fund, right? And then they have the other money in that Iraq 2 account that doesn't need that protection. I don't know. I find that very interesting. And then also it says America is pressuring Iraq to reform the banking system, and within 5 years we will eliminate monetary dealing. So don't freak out about that 5 years. I think what that's saying is they'll be strictly non-cash, right? That's not the word. That's not the way to say it. They'll be cashless in 5 years, but I'm hoping they're not. All right, so so this kind of came later. This might even be the last. No, this is an article about the airspace over Iraq after the attack. So you could read that if you want, because it's probably outdated and incorrect by now. Here is Sadani talked about Iraq is a country full of opportunities as witnessed by international organizations. So isn't that interesting? In this article, he references international organizations, and then when he gives his answer to the RV question, he uses international organizations. All right. This is an interesting article, but I think oh, here is the video. Okay. Here's the video. But you know what? I'm gonna embed the video, not just have the link here. Okay? So during his meeting with the Iraqi community in Michigan, the justifications for the presence of the international coalition in Iraq ended today. Video, right? So that's not the article, which is above, right? That's the video. All right. I thought I had done that. I really tried to prepare because there was so much that I had to squeeze in. Because, I try to keep these under 40 minutes because I know it's a lot of words, especially if you're not looking at the video, you're just listening, and it can be boring. And I know my voice is calm and soothing and could put you in a place of zen. And next thing you know, you're dozing off. No, I'm just kidding. You better not be dozing off while I'm working over here. Anyway, so here's an article about the pharmaceutical industry and housing because they need a ton of housing from all levels. The grandiose homes that the rich, if they're coming back, they're going to want certain types of homes, right? To the regular everyday. And again, he reached out to Iraqi businessmen to seize available investment opportunities. Okay, so that's the last one. Now I skipped over one. Oh yeah. So this is that. Okay. So this is a different article about what he said to the people in Michigan. But if you read the first one, it's pretty much the same. Victory over ISIS has been achieved through the sacrifices of the people and blah blah blah. Can you imagine? Some of them have been here for 20 years. Because when we went over there in 2003, that's when a lot of these people left. They left and came here, and they haven't been back since. So, all right. Thank you for listening. That is it. I still don't. Not sure. I think Sadani will go back tomorrow. So he'll land Saturday. This was a whirlwind of a trip. I'm sure he needs to rest. But then he'll be right back at it, having more meetings. Remember, I don't believe that as soon as he gets there, they're going to change the rate. He's going to meet with the Turkey guy, Erdogan. He's going to have meetings. I'm certain somehow Iran is going to be over there to meet with him. So yeah, so this was a great week for Iraqi-American forward movement. I hope you see that. Again, go get that document. At least save it on your computer if you don't want to print it out. Thank you for listening. I got new subscribers. Hey, new subscribers. I see you. Thank you. Yeah. So, I just do this just to keep people in. What if we're here till the end of the year? Are you prepared? Are you able to maintain your household? And I don't want you riding the roller coaster. I don't like confusion, which in dinar land sometimes there tends to be confusion, and I don't like the roller coaster. Right. Okay. So that's why I do this. Okay. So accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Pay all your bills. Don't miss any meals. And enjoy the weekend. That's right. It's Friday. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll probably post. I probably will post. If anything, just to confirm that Sadani did make it home. Maybe to go over whatever they're going to define as truth of Iran being hit by Israel. Anything that's worth talking about, I would do that. Maybe Saturday evening. All right. So thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time you're enjoying this content. Thanks again, and until next time.